I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is. Eventually people are going to say, what the hell is going on? It's not enough to say it's nuts. You have to explain why it's so nuts. The invention of artificial life, the cloning of human beings, possible contact with extraterrestrials, the systems which are in place to keep the world sane are utterly inadequate to the forces that have been unleashed.
Welcome back to Forbidden Knowledge News. I'm your host, Chris Matthew. Today my guest is Johnny Larson. Be sure and check out my films that are out there in the streaming universe. Doors of Perception is on Amazon Prime. Occult Louisiana is on Tubi, Roku, Apple, and more. We're having our fundraiser for film number 3. It's going to be a sci-fi comedy mockumentary featuring myself and many of your favorite researchers, authors, and content creators. If you'd like to help with our fundraiser, we have links right in the description. Anything is greatly appreciated. All my films are completely self-funded with the help of your kind donations. We're booking guests for February. If you have suggestions or you'd like to be a guest, email me forbiddenknowledgenews@gmail.com. Today I want to welcome back to the show Johnny Larson. He is a surrealist artist who grew up outside the box and never stopped questioning everything. His work lives in that strange space between humor and introspection, twisting familiar ideas into vivid, dreamlike imagery. A lifelong creator and storyteller, he explores themes of curiosity, culture, and the ways art help us process the world around us with a wink toward the absurd. Johnny, welcome back. How you doing?
I'm good. How you been?
I'm great, man. It's great to have you back. For those that aren't aware, you have provided not only the sweet FKN logo, but the artwork for both my films, Occult Louisiana and Doors of Perception, as well as the cover of Cory Hughes' book, A Warning from History. We so look forward to future collaborations as well. Today, we're going to share a bit more about your journey as it relates to spirituality, the paranormal, how it shaped your work and perspective on life, as well as share some insights, current events, AI art, the importance of creativity in a dystopian realm. Before we get too weird, remind the audience just a little bit about yourself and let them know how they can find out more.
Yeah, I am. First, I got to say it's great to be back, and I look forward to collaborating with you guys in the future as well, just because we jive on such good wavelengths. I think we've been through a lot of the same stuff or different stuff that's like relatable,
Yeah.
so we get along really well, which is awesome. Yeah, I'm a Colorado artist. I've just been drawing my whole life. I feel like now that I've gotten older, I've realized it's a really good outlet for stress, trauma, and all that stuff. I don't think I put that together until like the last couple of years when I started getting a little deeper into self. And then last year I took the plunge to just go ahead and be a full-time artist. At the end of January, I decided to just quit the job I was doing and just go for it. I figure if you are something, why deny that? So I figured even if it's a little bit of a struggle, I'd rather do that than I was doing like project management for Hollywood firms, which is the least creative block of people actually when you
Yeah.
when you actually get down to it. It was actually kind of surprising how little creativity the executives in that world had. But yeah, I'm just an authentic, weird human being. And I just love to create all the time. And that's basically who I am. I just kind of flow. I kind of roll with the punches because I used to try to control everything in life. And you find out pretty quickly that you're not really in control.
Right.
You just have to learn how to adapt and roll with it. And I have a website you could check out. It's very simple. It's just johnnylarson.com. So that's a good place to look for me later if you feel the need to take a fun visual journey.
I love it, man, and I love that you've taken that plunge into doing this full time. In my experience, and from many other colleagues and friends that I know, once you start feeding that creative urge and feeding that passion, whatever it is that you do, it carries you. It provides for you and it leads you in that direction. As long as you're doing it the right way and doing it for the right reasons, it seems that the universe rewards you for that in a sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, I always thought that was like some hippie bullshit or something.
I did too.
Because I grew up with parents that were like, it's a pipe dream, you know, it's cool that you do art, you're good at it, but you got to have a job and this and that. And I'm like, well, I can always go get a job, you know, but it is very true. Things just, the universe provides when you're doing what you're supposed to do. Like, I would be really fucking sad if it was like Chris Matthews working for like Best Buy's like development, research and development, and then I didn't have my show to listen to every night. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It's nice, and it's hard to say because it's, you don't want people to be like reckless and be like, you know, I'm gonna be a tennis player and like throw their whole life away like trying to be like, you know, there's like boundaries and stuff we kind of have to have. But yeah, I do feel like following your passion just opens up whole new doors. You just got to trust the process. Not like QAnon. Don't
Not like that.
don't trust that plan, but trust the process, and things will fall into place with whatever you're doing.
Once I've figured out how to make a living and survive without being part of that system, I could never really go back to that. I'll just put out 100 of the shittiest movies a year just to survive, rather than going and working for the man again. There's so much, not only freedom, but the stress and anxiety that comes along with having a day job, being responsible for that every day. I used to wake up in the morning and just dread waking up because I knew I had to go to this shitty corporate job that I hated. So it really makes a world of difference being able to dictate your own living in the way you're doing it.
Right. And it can be your career, your job, could be your lane. Like if you're not, I was having that same thing towards the end when I decided to just hang that last job up. I was like losing sleep over it. I'd wake up in the middle of the night like thinking about these focus groups, like, oh man, did I like do this and that? And I'm like, why does that matter, dude? You're sleeping. Like, it shouldn't stress you out that badly. And I do know that there's a lot of careers out there where people are finding their passion and whatnot. There's nothing wrong with that at all. It's just like you say, when you're scraping by and like stressed out about it, it's bad, man. It fucks with your health and your mental well-being and probably your close relationships and stuff because you're stressed out and you're taking it out on people and shit that had nothing to do with the bad day you had or whatever. So yeah.
The one thing I tell people is,
and your movies aren't shitty, by the way. Don't say that.
The one thing I'd tell people is, if anything, take that first step. At least try, at least put forth a little effort to attempt and achieve those goals, because in my experience, once you take that first step, there is a momentum, and it seems like other steps are, in a sense, taken for you, and it makes it a little easier once you initiate it, if you know what I mean.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. I've been doing art, you know, moonlighting art for a while too, so I knew it was viable. Like it would be kind of weird, and unless I was just rich or something, it would be reckless to just be like, all right, you know, I drew a couple times, I'm going to quit my job and nail into it. So like, I'm sure you moonlit, or you worked and you started your podcast and stuff like that. And then it just transitions over time because you kind of know what you're doing. You got your foot in, and you can use all those job skills that you used making other people rich to create your own stuff. You know, that's kind of what I used all of that project management experience with. Now I can talk to my clients, and I don't have this weird, before I used to have this weird hang up, like, I don't know if I'm good enough, you know, like those voices in your head that kind of fuck with you. But I'm like, wait, I was all on the ball dealing with like high level Nickelodeon executives because I was afraid that my boss might get mad at me if I wasn't. Why wouldn't I apply that to myself, my own product,
100%.
you know? And that was a a weird transition, but it's been working out.
Well, last time you were on, we briefly touched on some of your early experiences that shaped where you're at now, paranormal or otherwise. What didn't we cover last time that you'd like to discuss today?
You know, I remember we did talk about the little machine elf guys,
A
didn't
little
we?
bit, I think so.
I think, yeah, that was a weird experience. But recently I was kind of remembering. I was talking with Lindsay. I used to have all these weird dreams, nightmares, or whatnot, where I would be like at this mall, and these like weird entity, like it was usually almost always like old ladies, and then they would turn into like demons and stuff and like attack me. And it would be recurring. I mean, like to the point where I like knew their faces. Like I'd see them as the old lady, like in a dream a month later, and be like, "Oh shit, that's that one lady," and stuff. And it was weird because it was recurring. It would kind of like follow me into like waking hours a little bit, where I was just kind of aware of presences, or I could like sense energy in a way. I think it's like the stuff they beat out of us with like school and church and stuff like that. And I come to find out, I guess there is kind of a thing where there's like this astral like mall,
Dude,
or so. Like there's been
I
many
can't
people
believe
who
you
have
said
talked
that.
about this
Just the
place.
other day, I did a show, I think it was with Rob Khalil from Typical Skeptic, but he is describing the exact same thing. He has a recurring dream where he's in a mall being attacked by demons or creatures or other people. And I've heard this before as well from other people. It reminds me of the Donald Marshall story. Are you familiar with Donald Marshall and the cloning
Yes.
experiences?
Yeah.
Wild stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the more I hear other people expressing that similar things kind of have happened to them, and the mall thing, that's such a powerful place that shows up so often in people's dreams and usually in very bad or negative situations. That's wild, though.
It's really weird, right? Because I had never really heard of that until I was just talking with Lindsay about it. She's like, "Oh, you've never heard? This is like a thing."
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, "That's really weird." And I wonder, I wonder if like the Zoomers or like the Gen Alpha, it's going to be like a different setting, like because we grew up with malls
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff. But it was like it was a really weird place, and I haven't seen that for years. I think I kind of
Dude,
blocked
the
my
mall shaped
spirituality
my
out.
teenage years and my childhood. I got into so much trouble
Yeah.
at the mall, a skateboard punk with my friends, doing
Yeah.
the worst of things, doing drugs, getting
Right?
into trouble. But the mall was just a fun place growing up.
Oh, absolutely. It was
Yeah.
everything. You know what I mean? Like once we were able to get there on our own too, like
Yes.
that was amazing. Like once the older kid like could get you a ride there and you didn't have to rely on the bus or something. Like it's like funny now because I feel like they're almost resurging a little bit.
Really?
They have to like be creative with their rentals. Like the one down here has like a big pickleball thing where like the Sears used to be and stuff
I
like
have
that.
to
But
wonder if
it's
those
funny they're
stores in the
trying to.
mall these days are money laundering fronts. I never see anyone going into any of these stores.
For real. It is really strange, like how quiet malls were. I was just thinking that like a couple weeks ago when we were out and about, like the holiday time, that was everything was to go to the mall. It was all super
Yeah.
decked out. You couldn't find parking. You know what I'm saying? It was like shoulder to shoulder. Now you walk in the mall and there's like 15 people, like a sad pretzel stand.
Something
And
else I noticed.
luckily there's no like,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's no astral demons, luckily, but
Something else I noticed about
maybe,
the
maybe.
holidays in general, especially in recent years, is when I was growing up, my whole neighborhood would be lit up with lights. People would decorate the shit out of their houses, and it was a pretty universal thing. We'd even drive around just to see the pretty Christmas lights around the neighborhood growing up in the 80s and 90s. Now, you're
Yeah.
lucky if you have 2 or 3 houses down your street that are decorating or putting out Christmas lights. I'm not sure what that means, but it's an interesting phenomena.
It is. It's really weird. Because we wanted to drive around and look at lights, and it's kind of funny. I'm like, if everyone could like coordinate and just put them all in like 5 streets now instead of just having like one sprinkled here, one sprinkled
Yeah.
there. And I kind of get it. Like, we had talked about putting lights up on our house, and we were just kind of like, I don't know, the electricity bill and blah, blah, blah. But
Yeah.
it's like maybe next year we'll do the fence or something, just because we were bitching about people not doing it. So I was like, well, we're not doing it. So maybe get the chicken coop all lit up or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Well, going back to
See
the
how it goes.
dream realm thing, this is such a fascinating thing. The possibility that when we're dreaming, we're experiencing different lives, even different realms. If you think about the Donald Marshall story, he claims his consciousness is taken from his current body and placed in a clone's body and then proceeded to be tortured and things of that nature. But the possibilities when it comes to what is happening when we're in altered states like dreams or meditation, I think it's very possible that we are experiencing what is beyond our normal perception, that there is existences and other versions of ourselves experiencing different realms.
I wholeheartedly agree. And I think like it's definitely we're leaving. We're doing something while we're sleeping. You know, we're either experiencing another plane, another lifetime, another reality. And I kind of feel like it's like that old the old druggy adage of like if you're gonna do a trip or whatever, like your mind space kind of dictates what may happen. Whereas like when I was a kid, so I was like super asthmatic and like pretty frail. And so I was always kind of anxious or scared or worried. And so I wonder if that was like a good feeding ground for like these entities that love to fuck with our emotions and kind of like have a feast off of it. And I kind of feel like nowadays, like I don't even like the weird messed up dreams I have don't really bother me like that. Like I don't wake up from a nightmare going like, oh my God, you know, like I mean I've had a few here and there, but it's like as I matured and got like more emotionally well and kind of more understanding of the spiritual realm, it's like less likely to really drive me crazy. Like I almost I was joking, but I was like, I feel like if we had like a haunting or something, I kind of like, dude, you know, I'm kind of busy. Um, if you could come back later, I got like a lot of shit on my plate right now, Ghost. Like you're not really gonna gonna bother me now like you would have back in the day. But I do I also it was gosh, I forget the guy's name. Someone was talking about like I think it was like Stanley Morrow or something, but he was talking about like quantum jumping where you can jump from like timeline to timeline unconsciously and kind of like pick up skills from your other
Huh.
selves and stuff like that. And I feel like it's all kind of interconnected, but like in a way that we can't put our fingers on. Like how in dreams when you're trying to like write something down and you're like, I can't write, like I can't read this letter or whatever. I feel like we just don't have the spiritual cognition to kind of grasp and quantify the experience in a proper
Mm.
way. But I know some shit's going on when we're asleep for
I've
sure.
heard some really
Like,
interesting theories about timeline jumps, the possibility of multiple realities unfolding at one time. Some examples are Bruce Goldberg says he can meditate and jump to different realities. One was so extremely different that his wife had different color hair and there were different events that were surrounding his life, which is pretty wild. No way to verify any of that. Another is
right.
a near death time jump where I had a guest that claimed she was on a freeway and got into a wreck. Cars piled up on her and she was immediately dead and in this heavenly realm. They told her she had to go back, and when she went back, there was no wreck, but she was still on the freeway. She was fine. Nothing happened, but she said her life unfolded in a very profoundly different way after that experience, and she viewed things differently. The other is, I forget the guest's name. I'll think of it soon, but he wrote the book Cheating the Ferryman, And some of his theories include that if it's not your time to go, or you die an untimely, abrupt, or unexpected death, that you're just going to pop into a different reality and not even realize it, and your life will continue to unfold, but in that maybe slightly different reality. Wild possibilities. And then another guest believes that we're constantly flipping between those realities based on every decision we make, our different emotional state, how we perceive things. It's constantly sliding over. I don't know.
Right. I know. It's trippy to think about,
Yeah.
right? Like I was such a I was like a severe alcoholic. Like I've been sober for like 14 years now, but I was like on the Chris Farley, like John Belushi path, like just gallons of vodka, like just going crazy. And I was like, man, maybe I like died and like just shifted because now like a human female's willing to live with me, which was never a reality at one point. But even like the 2012 stuff, sometimes I'm like things are so weird now and so cartoon like. I'm like, did something happen in like 2012 and like everyone just died and we're like in some weird like projection of something now or something? I don't know. There's many times where I like wonder because so much of like tangible reality seems to be ignored by like so many people right now. I'm just kind of like, how did everyone like fall into delusion like
Dude.
over voting or something?
It's over everything. People are divided over so many different ridiculous things right now. How are you spiritually navigating everything since 2020 and the large amount of people who have become aware of at least the corruption in our reality? That leads many to a very dark place. It's confusing for a lot of people to understand that we live in a reality where our ruling class hate us and want to kill us and enslave us. That leads a lot of people to this dark Gnostic thinking that if our rulers are evil, whatever's above that must be evil, and there's archons or a satanic spirit that rules over the world, and there's nothing else. Even David Icke says when we enter the afterlife, our relatives will appear to us, but there really be archons disguised as our relatives, spank us and make us go back and do it all over again every time because they're feeding off us. That's just too bleak for me. I've considered the possibility. I think there's something to a lot of Gnostic thinking, but I don't think it's all an evil realm, if you know what I mean.
I do. I like the way I have. So luckily for some of us, I think yourself included, I think you were saying like it was around 2012 when you were noticing stuff. Like, I think that like the people who were aware of this before 2020 had like a giant leg up, emotionally, spiritually, because it wasn't really super shocking or surprising. You're just kind of like, oh shit, they're gonna pull this.
Yeah.
So I would say like the simplest way to put how I've dealt with it since 2020 is laughing Buddha. Like it is so absurd that it's almost comical in a way. I understand there's like actual death and destruction and stuff, but the things they try to make you believe, the stuff that they were using to scare people, I have empathy. I felt bad for how badly, I mean, they fucked people's minds. Like to this day, I see people still all fucked up, like just permanent hypochondriacs and just no real touch with reality. I don't think like Trump has helped a lot of these people either. Like I think their constant fear of him, which is weird. I'm like, I wouldn't really fear a Barnum and Bailey clown, so I don't know why the fuck you fear him. But I have just kind of always, once I hit a point, so I was on that dark shit, like the archons, this is a reincarnation factory. We're just going to be spit back out when we die and we have to like go through it again. And that was kind of what led to my alcoholism, to be honest. Like, I don't know, it was like a little after 9/11 or something. Like I just really dove into David Icke and listen to Alex Jones like all the time and shit like that. And that will psychologically fuck you up too. To like listen to negativity like all day long, and you're like, there's nothing you can do about it. Like they're gonna take all of our guns, they're gonna take all this shit. And um it was like a moment. One of my good friends who hipped me to everything was just kind of like, dude, they can't take your soul.
Mm.
Like, and that really hit hard. I was like, that's a good point. Unless they can do some Donald Marshall shit and they can just steal your consciousness or something.
They can definitely psychologically manipulate you to give it away yourself, I'd say.
100%. Like that's definitely the push. I thought all that stuff was kind of like, Jerry Falwell shit when like the bitching about pornography, there's too much porn, this and that. It's like, oh, you guys are just prudes. And then I'm like, oh, wait, there's actually something to this, dude. They want everybody to be like spiritually vapid, because I think you're easier to control that way. Kind of the same way with like, for some or maybe many, like alcohol, I feel like, or even other substances can open doorways to things that can like influence you to do dark shit. And we all have our choices, but you can be influenced pretty easily to do something stupid. I mean, like, I feel like all like the political stuff right now, they're just getting people like whipped up into this weird set. And I'm like, what, you're gonna do a civil war? Like nobody's gonna do a civil war. Everybody has Netflix and like access to Amazon. Like no one even wants to leave the house to go to work. Like there's gonna be like 15 people out there fighting in the streets over what,
Yeah.
So that's the way I've navigated it really spiritually, is just kind of knowing that it's not really, I don't like treat it like it's a show. I do take life seriously, but I don't let things really bug me too much, because I've been in that point. I mean, like in 2011, I thought they were going to put us all in FEMA
Well,
camps
according to the Deagle report, in a few days, we're going to be down in our population by like 75% or some shit. So get ready.
Right. And it's funny because every time something like that comes out, I'll look into it, I'll read into it, and I'm like, it's very possible, especially with like the vaccine and all this other shit going around. But I think even if that's a plan of the elite, like they have miscalculated the human spirit and the spirituality of people like by so much. It's not tangible. It's not something they can ever control or fuck with. I mean, they can influence, but I'm like, all of your plans fail. All of them seem to fail all the time. They try. I think 2020 was supposed to be way crazier. I think January 6th was supposed to actually be like fucked up, and nobody went along with it. And I don't know. It's funny to kind of watch them fail, and that's why I just keep with the laughing Buddha, because I'm like, yeah,
that's great, man.
You think you guys can pull this shit off? Like, go
that's
for
the
it.
way to do it. Speaking of spiritually vapid, like you mentioned, let's talk a little bit about AI. I think we talked a little bit about it last time, but it's rapidly evolving. It's being used more and more. It's being used for deceptive purposes. People are relying on it for ridiculous things. They're having relationships with the AI. What are your thoughts about where we're at with that?
It is really weird because it is here. So like it's not gonna go anywhere. Um, I think it can be a decent like search engine tool. Like if you use it to try to gather data quickly instead of like diving into stuff. Although I think diving into stuff is its own awesome thing to do. I think like researching yourself and spending a lot of time like thinking and not having something do it for you is kind of the way your brain works. It's like how we use Google Maps, and then 5 years later you like don't even know how to get to places because you've been relying on this technology for so long. But it's scary to me how I've seen so many people pass around like AI video as like factual. And it's pretty obvious that it's not. Like, it's pretty obvious that there's something off. I don't know. It kind of goes back to that like spiritual energy. Like it just rubs me the wrong way when I look at it. Like almost like there's like some sort of soul missing, or like some sort of maybe even demonic influence involved. Because it's like even Grok, they'll do like an animate like photo thing, which I've used on my artwork, and it does a fucking amazing job, but it's really creepy. And and there's like these noises that come through, like when the Grok does that with images, and I'm like, that shit is that vibration is not of this realm. There's something weird. So I don't really, I think people are going to, I think there's going to be the camp that's fooled by anything AI, and they're going to use it for their like political tribalism. But I do think that people are already like, okay, we need to put this cat back in the fucking bag. And it's like, well, it's out. So I'm hoping that people, it's going to be kind of like the spiritual renaissance of like 100 years ago, like the Great Depression and shit. And people are going to move back towards like tangible art, tangible products, like human connection. Because I think we've gotten so far away from human connection in just like 10 years. And I see more and more now, people are out and about, people are going to events again and stuff like that. So it's a really weird bag, because I think there's the people that love it and would, like you said, like have relationships with it. People are like making Luigi chatbots to like have relationships with Luigi Mangione and shit. And I'm like, that's weird. You're like a cyber Manson girl. Like, I don't even understand like what's going on. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. I love innovation, and I love like the creativity of mankind, but sometimes, man, we just do weird shit. Like, at least Solomon like knew how to like control the demons he was like supposedly messing with.
Well, I have to thank
You know?
AI, because I've gone from scrolling social media a couple of times a week mindlessly for maybe 10, 15 minutes to not at all. I cannot stand being on social media at all anymore. Everything, 90% of it at least, is fake. I'm only using it to promote my shows and post my stuff, and then I'm off. So it is saving me a bit of time through my week not to be sucked in scrolling through that nonsense. And I'm hoping, like you said, that'll be the case for more people. I look at my wife's son. He is almost 20 years old now, and he doesn't use social media at all. He's never really on his phone, occasionally, but he's one of those kids that enjoys going out and doing things with his friends more than hanging out online. He used to be a video game kid, but the older he gets, it's like he's starting to check out of all that stuff, which is pretty encouraging.
That is, and that's really wild, because I have some family members that are about that age, and some of my friends' kids who are around that age, and like they're all like really healthy. Like, they don't really they like won't even eat like sugar and shit. They don't really fuck around online. Like, they'll like play a little bit of video games and stuff, but they're more about like being in the moment and hanging out outside with their friends. And it like makes me so happy to see, like, and they're all pretty good kids too. Or I'm too dumb to see what they're pulling off, which is awesome, because I think I hit a lot of the dumb shit I was doing from my folks as well. Yeah. But it was encouraging to see them like I actually just heard a story from a gal that's at the same studio where I do art. She was talking about how she bought her 10-year-old daughter a shirt for Christmas, and her daughter's like, I can't wear this, Mom. And she's like, why? And she's like, well, it's AI generated. And I was like, oh, so
nice.
Like young kids are like against it? Like, she's like, yeah, I guess so. It's like a social faux pas to like wear AI stuff. So like maybe like, I don't know. That's why I always look at everything with optimism.
Everything we're shown on social media and the news is to get us divided and hating each other and thinking the world is 1,000 times worse than it really is. But all you have to do is go step outside and talk to your neighbors and your friends, and pretty soon you start to realize that it's all theater that they're trying to get us worked up over what they're showing us on TV and online.
Yeah, absolutely. Plato's Cave, man. Like, it's insane to me what some people will believe. Like, the boomers are funny to hang out with, like around like the holidays and stuff, just because the stuff that they like think is happening.
Oh yeah.
I'm just kind of like, huh. And like, me and Lindsay have never had chill, so we're just like, well, actually, if you want to know about this, which is funny. But I feel like that's the high, like the the largest influence group right now is the
Mm.
boomers because I don't think they can figure out AI, and I don't think they're figuring out like that
The
CNN and Fox
propaganda.
News is not. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it does.
They're like, oh, that's propaganda. It's like, oh, you think what I'm telling you is propaganda? That's
Yeah,
okay,
it does
cool.
seem a little bit more difficult for them to navigate some of the events that are unfolding. I want to get your thoughts on
Yeah.
this. Besides the high impact events like 9/11 and COVID that started to wake people up, I think another major conspiratorial woo-woo phenomenon that started to get people questioning even the nature of reality is the Mandela effect, predictive programming, and synchronicity and synchromysticism in films, which connects with the predictive programming as well. The biggest one recently was the Charlie Kirk Snake Eyes thing. I try to be as skeptical as possible when it comes to some of this stuff, but there are so many connections just within that one event. This phenomena that's been occurring with Mandela effect and predictive programming has gotten more normies questioning the woo-woo side of reality, I think, than anything in a very long time.
Yeah, yeah. I like when events do that when they make I feel like it snapped a lot of like the red hats out of their shit. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
um, um, but it is like it's always weird because I still never know. Like I still like so it sometimes makes me go right back to like, okay, we're in a
yeah,
simulation. Like, how does this all like work and interconnect so well together? Because like I almost feel like so many times like there's no way that like the Hollywood executives that I talked to just a year ago, like pre-planned or like, I mean, I've
yeah,
obviously they'd be like useful
yeah.
tools or whatnot, but it is weird how many things like connect with events like that. And then I wonder too, is it just our badass like pattern
Mm.
recognition capabilities? Like making us see patterns, or was it like Hollywood all along has been CIA? I mean, CIA has been involved in Hollywood since like what was that Howard Hughes or whatever. So like they're always involved. I remember hearing executives say like you have to like run scripts by like the CIA and shit like that. But like as far as that goes, like my major plus or the thing I take away from when events like this happen and there's all these connections that kind of show it was like a planned event or something when it pops normies out. That's like, and I hate using the term normies, but just people who aren't necessarily aware of things when it makes them more aware or makes them question reality, that is such a plus for humanity
Yeah.
because that just takes away the power from the people in control, like running the stagecraft,
Yeah, 100%. Let's talk a little bit more about the dystopian events that are unfolding, or at least that they'd like us to believe is unfolding. In your talking points, you mentioned the obsession with tribalism, arguing, filling spiritual voids with narcissism, fighting neighbors. We talked a little bit about this. We mentioned that it's always worse what they're going to portray than what it really is in real life. And I think that it's always somewhere in the middle, right?
Yeah, yeah, it definitely is. I would imagine if, if you go out and talk to your neighbor, even if your neighbor has like a freaking Trump flag on his wall or like I don't know, a BLM flag on their house or something, you're probably going to have a lot in common.
Yeah.
Like I feel like even with the tribalism, most people involved are good people, and they've been fed this line that the other side is bad, which is obviously the best way to make propaganda work and to keep the eyes off the target. But I don't like it's really weird how like and it is I think it's just social media driven how everybody wants to fucking argue about everything all the time. And not necessarily so much in real life. Like even if you and I we were like hanging out and we butted heads over something, we would like maybe like have a discussion about it, state our sides, and then order a pizza and like hang out, and it would, like, life would continue. And I think the separation of people, like people just kind of being shut-ins and shit, is the only way it works. Because if you're not talking to people, you're not going to see that, oh, that guy actually like believes in human rights as much as you do. He just didn't want to wear a fucking
Also, if you
mask.
don't have to worry
Like,
about the possibility of being punched in the face for being a dick, that leaves you a little bit more freedom to do so.
yeah, exactly. That is the main thing. That's what an anonymity like took
Yeah.
away. Is like,
God, I miss
yeah,
that.
you couldn't just come up to someone and just start yelling at them and calling them a fucking grandma killer to their face without like some sort of conflict or repercussion. And it's I think it's just gross how they've gotten a lot of people. And you know what? I don't even know if this is true, because now I would almost bet 90% of the fucking internet is just AI. Like
Right.
the people are arguing with online, like they're just little bot farms and some Bangladeshi server being paid by like Zuckerberg to like increase content engagement or something like.
Yeah, nowadays, I wonder how much of the internet, how much of your comment section, even your friends on Facebook are non-existent and they're AI bots.
Right. That's why I was happy to like know you're real in real life. I was like, he's real.
Man.
No, but it's like really weird too. I that's what I hate about it, like social media, especially because we use it for our business, and like you have a lot of listeners. I have a lot of people who follow me. We can do like a joint post together or something and post it, and two people will see
Yeah.
it. And I'm just like, this is so weird. But if I were to say something political that would piss off everyone on my friends list, every single motherfucker would be shown that post. But if I'm trying to sell like a $20 calendar or something, like nobody
Yeah.
sees it. You know what I'm saying? And it's weird. They've literally used that tool just to try to like, I feel like they may be digitally like farming emotion or something. Maybe there's like some digital archons or something.
The
Like,
algorithms are so archonic, man. I'm not sure where we're at as it relates to censorship right now. There's some strange things happening. In 2021, they took away my YouTube channel. I was banned for 2
Right.
years. Then a couple of months ago, I get an email saying, hey, we're giving you your channel back out of nowhere. So I get the channel back. The channel has like 32,000 subscribers. And I start to post videos, a lot of back episodes, and I notice that now my videos aren't getting more than 300 to 500. Maybe I'm lucky if I get a couple of thousand views on a video with 32,000 subscribers. You would have to think, even if
Right.
the notification only goes out to a third of those people, you're going to get over 1,000 views and downloads on it. So it's very strange. I noticed the podcast realms, the numbers are extremely low across the board for everyone I talk to. I wonder if there's some kind of suppression going on there. And it's some very weird topics that they don't want you, or that seem to be lost in the algorithm, that they don't want blowing up in any way.
Yeah. No, I had to like find and resub to you on YouTube, even though I try to like stay away
Yeah.
from YouTube, but I'll still throw it on. And like I love your show. And so if they're not notifying people, I bet there's still a shitload of subscribers that are like they're like ghosted. Like your shit's probably not even showing up in their feed. And why?
Yeah.
Like that's the weird thing, right? Because like fucking Coast to Coast is on every night on the radio. Now Coast to Coast is pretty homogenized and they won't touch a lot of shit, but it's still like alternative thinking. It's not like you're on here like fucking going like crazy Alex Jones or like or even and I think everybody's speech should just be whatever, unless you're just a terrible awful person like
Right.
telling people to like go shoot people or some
Yeah.
bullshit. But yeah, it's I don't get it, and I find it offensive because the shit on actual TV is like way more detrimental to people's fucking minds and souls. And the whole point of YouTube, the literal whole point of YouTube was for alternative voices, alternative media just everything that wasn't CBS and ESPN, but everything that's YouTube now is fucking ESPN and ABC and stuff. And it's like, we already have television, dude. Like, why? It's like that rich kid who just has to have fucking everything. You're like, look, man, we like created this little area so like us peasants could like hang out and discuss ideas and shit. Now you're here, like showing Dancing with the Stars clips when I'm trying to fucking learn about Bigfoot.
Yeah. They have a great way of infiltrating everything that's beneficial to humanity. We've seen it, unfortunately, big time in the past couple of years with the alternative and conspiracy community. It's no longer the most popular videos are the actual alternative media, but it is the mainstream alternative media that used to be the mainstream media, but decided to infiltrate the conspiracy bandwagon, and now talking about the things that we were talking about 5 years ago and flourishing.
I know. It's really annoying as like a fan to see that happen. Like truly, like I'll see stuff like, you know, you, Charlie, Lindsay, like a lot of people I really like talked about years ago, and then fucking Tucker Carlson will like talk about it. And then like his shit is like all these billions of, and I'm like, dude, what the
It's kind of
fuck?
diabolically
Like, actually,
brilliant,
like,
but you know.
it is. It really is. And because then they like they put their little twist and their little flavorings in it to kind of keep it Mockingbird and shit. And yeah, it's a shame, and I do think eventually the dam has to break because who's buying this shit, dude? Like, I really don't know anyone, even like people I know who aren't all conspiratorial and stuff, like don't buy it for a second.
Unfortunately, I think that there are still way too many people that do, and we have our own echo chambers. We surround ourselves with like-minded people, so it's probably a little difficult for us to reach that end of the spectrum and really have an understanding, but I'm always interested in trying to find out where the majority of people stand and what most people are looking at, but it is difficult with the algorithm archons these days, for sure.
It's true. I do think the thing that does bridge the gap is like the paranormal and stuff like that. I think even like the most, you know, hardcore like conspiracy denier or like pro Pfizer person still like believes in like aliens or Bigfoot or something like that. Like something on that realm. Ghosts, it doesn't even matter. I feel like that's like the way I try to like whittle my way into people's minds if they're like they seem kind of closed-minded to stuff. But it's like they can't break that like it's very, and I think it's very hard for people to understand the government wanting to do them harm. I think it's just like I think it's like a survival programming to not want to believe that, to not want to accept that as reality because it's so fucked up. That it's just kind of easier to be like, no, like they would never do that. Like you're crazy. And but my political team is here to help. Like we've been struggling for 15 years financially, but this next time they get it, and we're gonna flourish. It's
like keeping that abusive boyfriend that beats the shit out of you and constantly saying he's gonna change.
Right? Exactly. And it's sad to watch. Because you want to help people break out. You want people to see, you know, I don't need people to be like full on like worried about it or going through like, because it's kind of, it really is kind of like in the movie The Matrix when he like pops and realizes like what reality actually, like it was like that for me when it like hit. But, and it can be hard and fast and furious, but now I kind of feel like they flooded so much bullshit into the conspiracy community that it makes it easy to pick apart everything because one thing was so goofy. Like to a normal person, they're like, well, yeah, but you guys thought that like blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, no one thought that, but I know that they told you that, like, or injecting belief.
Yeah.
They'll just use these like stupid sound bites that like, I'm like, I don't know, man. There's like a lot of Harvard scientists, a lot of scientists that think that vaccines might be kind of fucked up. You should just look into it. And then they're like, oh, you Trump supporter. And then to me, that's hate speech. I'm like, don't ever fucking tell me that. Like, Don't you ever call me a voter. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's talk a little bit about your creative process. In your notes, you talk about a process resembling automatic writing, role of pareidolia, letting shapes and accents guide a piece. Talk a little bit about your process.
Yeah, so I like to ever since I was a kid, and it may even lend into the paranormal stuff. I think a lot of people have I don't even know how to pronounce that word you just pronounced, but it's seeing objects in
Pareidolia? I think that's how you
I
pronounce it. Yeah.
pareidolia. Yeah, I think that is it. I think I butchered your last name earlier too. So
That's all
whatever, we're
good.
just gonna
Yeah.
roll with it. So, but like seeing patterns in things, like when you look at wood grain and you see like a face, and stuff like that, that lends a lot to my creative process, to the point where I will see some like a knot of wood and it'll look like an eyeball, and I'll just start drawing it, and then it just starts to flow. Like it is really like
I
automatic
used to
writing.
spend
I
hours looking
sometimes
at my parents' wooden panels on the walls and imagining different faces and seeing them there. I know exactly what you're talking about.
and if you were to see that years later, you see the same faces
Yeah.
too,
Oh,
huh?
yeah.
It's weird. I'm like, that's my friend. Like, and that's literally like how the process starts. And then it will kind of be like automatic writing. Like it'll just kind of flow from one thing to the next. Like I'll be like, oh, that like eye looks sort of like a mouth, and then it becomes I mean, like if you're familiar with my art at all, this will make a little more
Yeah.
sense. But um and one thing will just kind of to run into the other, and it's almost more meditative, or like to the point where it's like just automatic. I've literally fallen asleep sometimes and like kind of like dozed off and like woke up and I've like drawn something a little bit, and I'm like, that's pretty weird. So I think that they're much like automatic writing, or much like any other creative process, you can hit that zone where you've got like the akashic like coming through and flowing through into your work. And I do think that's why a lot of people resonate with the stuff that I do, because I don't really do it for anyone but myself, but I think there's something in it that we all connect to, whether it was just the process of the Akashic being tapped into, or just shared experience and shit just somehow coming out into the image,
Mm.
which is rad. And I think it also captures somehow, like maybe it's like a diary or something in a way that maybe our spiritual understands, because it's just strange to me, how many people will like go through like my work at like a show or something and just really resonate with it, because it's weird shit. uh
Yeah.
so I don't know if it's just like a need,
From what I
or it
understand,
helps people like get back to
people
the
even use magic in ritual infused into their art. Examples I've heard of using spit or semen or blood within the art
yeah.
to add that extra mystical power to it. Whatever the intent is behind using a bodily fluid or whatever ritualistic aspect you're adding to the art, but art alone has so much power to reach our subconscious and tap into our emotions. You add some kind of woo-woo magic to that, who knows what could happen.
True. I think it's just the way possibly that I just treat people, or like it's like God or something. I don't know if it's just positive energy, just being optimistic. Like maybe people who are having a shitty day, like see the
Yeah.
optimism in and I don't know where it lies. Like I think it's something that's like unseen that I'm just able to somehow capture, which is rad. Like because it's not anything that I sat down and thought about. It's just kind of flow.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. To close out, let's talk a little bit about how you use art as therapy.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I don't think I noticed this until about 3 or 4 years ago. But it definitely, like, I think I'm like spiritually or emotionally well because of art. Because if I've had a shitty day, like I used to do music, I still do from time to time. So my aggressive stuff I would kind of throw into music. But I just think it's like a release at the end of the day, whether I know it or not, to sit there and draw for 30, 40 minutes a day. And it's like a reset button somehow. It's like journaling. therapy with like an actual person, stuff like that. It's like somehow it's that release valve, maybe grounding outside in the grass or something. It's just seemed to keep me calm through some pretty wild, fucked up shit. Because I like 2025 was one of the worst years I've had, but also like one of the
Mm,
best. Is like really weird, but I think it just takes being, spiritually kind of grounded to see that. Like we know when something bad happens, especially when we've lived, several decades, that there's going to be ups. You might have like a really shitty couple of months, but like something's going to come your way unless you remain
yeah,
negative. But if you keep that positive outlook and have releases, I feel like you can kind of get through
yeah.
anything.
How do you feel
So
about
it's
the current state of arts and entertainment in general? Music, movies, even podcasts, other artists. We've entered a strange period of flux, especially within the movie and music industries. Everything now going to the streaming services. And I have checked out of trying to find new music for a very long time now. I'd really like to be able to have time to do that, but I still try and every once in a while get that Spotify list updated and try and find some new artists. But in my perspective, it's getting a little bit more difficult to find really good new music. But what are your thoughts on where we're at with all that?
it's shifted so much to where now I just like to make my own
There you go.
because of
Yeah.
that. Like because of
Yeah.
that. Like I did meet someone that was a mutual friend of someone else who has a band in Denver and her music is freaking awesome. Um but for the most part I'm with you. Like everything's really homogenized and kind of weird and I still look for like if I'm gonna watch a movie, I will look for something
Hmm.
independent just because I know whoever made it, it was like a passion project, a project of love. It may be low budget, but I'm okay with that. I don't need to see the Incredible Hulk fucking ripping apart a helicopter. I've seen it,
Yeah.
dude. Like, so it's to the point where I think there's going to be a huge new creative renaissance from music, film, like doing what you do. Like, I think we just got to keep pushing, even though sometimes that the algorithm kind of fucks us up, and we're like, man, like why am I
Yeah.
doing this? Because we should have huge reaches. We really should. But I think it's going to happen. I think people, I even see it with like the Marvel movie heads. Like they're just tired of superhero movies. Like people are tired of the safe,
Yeah.
homogenized shit. And I feel like the alternative streamline is being built and it's gonna eventually the pressure is gonna be too much and it's gonna break the dam. And like I would hope these stupid Hollywood execs would at least take chances on somebody. I mean, there's like some stuff out there that's okay. That seems to be breaking through the homogenization. But it's just so plastic,
Yeah.
and finding other stuff is hard. Like if I ever find, I'll let you know about that chick's band. I think you'll like her music. But like it's rare to find new good stuff because there's so much to kind of sift through to find anything new. Like you said, it kind of I don't want to spend 12 hours looking for a
Yeah.
new band to follow or whatnot. I'd rather just maybe plug up my DAW and just record my own
Right
shit
on.
just because it's me. Um, I'm not making the next Wu-Tang or anything, but it's fun as hell for me to like record
Yeah.
music.
Well, I know you are often out and about sharing your work at different locations. Will you be doing any of that soon?
Yeah, I'll be doing this year I'll be doing some of the oddity festivals. I'm trying to go around the country a little bit, maybe get a little more eyes on my work and then I've been doing a lot of local stuff. I'm going to try to be up near you guys this
Oh,
summer.
sweet.
There's some stuff in Loveland and yeah, I'm going to just kind of go all over anywhere I can basically because I've noticed just going out and talking to people and just making a connection with people brings more people to our work and stuff. So yeah, as far as events go, like I have on my website, I'm gonna just have everything listed as it comes. As of right now, it's kind of quiet, but starting like March, April, it'll be picking up, and I'll be doing shows around Colorado and hopefully outside of Colorado if the Lord is willing.
Awesome, man. I love it. Johnny, thank you so much. Before I let you go, let the audience know how they can find more of you.
Yeah, definitely. JohnnyLarson.com is probably the best place to go, or at Yeti_slang on Instagram if you just want to look at a bunch of art. Some people have told me they they dose out and scroll my feed. I've got like 1,600 artworks on there, but I don't recommend doing drugs. I say drink some water, hang out, and scroll that feed. Listen to Chris and scroll my feed, and you'll have a hell of an experience. I do it every night. I draw to you all the time.
I love it, bro. Thank you, man. We will definitely be doing this again. And until next time, everyone, have an excellent evening. We will talk again tomorrow. See y'all then. If you're looking to start your therapeutic microdosing journey, but don't know where to start, especially when looking for the highest quality ingredients, including nootropics, and what you'd expect from a true microdose capsule, check out our friends at Brainsupreme. They offer the absolute highest quality ingredients so you can start your microdosing journey knowing that you're getting top-notch ingredients. To find out more, visit their website using that link right in the description, and you can get 15% off your entire order. Hello, friends. I am so excited to tell you about Independent Media Token. Independent Media Token is a brand new way to show your support for independent media without having to donate a dime. Independent Media Token is a cryptocurrency on the Solana blockchain designed to generate funds to promote and foster the growth of independent content creators, allowing them to engage in their art without having to worry about being demonetized. Through a network of media partners, of which you yourself can become a part of, Independent Media Token's goal is to ensure the powers that be can never cut off all of our areas of funding and censor the only free voices left in the world. Join the movement today. You can pick up Independent Media Token using Phantom Wallet or the Solana wallet of your choice, where you can easily swap your Solana for IMT. Grab some IMT today and remember to always know your team. To learn more, visit independentmediatoken.com or use the link right in the description. Are you and your family prepared for an emergency? Maybe the fake alien invasion? Now is the time to prepare yourself and your family for any event. Check out Prep Starts Now. Their mission is to provide high-quality preparedness products that empower individuals and families to be ready for any situation. They're committed to delivering reliable, trusted gear to ensure your safety, security, and peace of mind in times of need. Their product selection is carefully curated to provide you with the essential gear you need to stay prepared. From emergency kits to tactical tools, every item is chosen for its reliability and practicality. Prep Starts Now understands the importance of family, and their goal is to equip you with everything you need to build a solid plan for your family's preparedness. In today's ever-changing world, being prepared is more important than ever, and Prep Starts Now is here to help you and your family stay ready with quality products and practical guidance. Use the link in the description and get 15% off your order.